Cam Newton, because Cam has earned over $120 million during his 9-year career, not including endorsement money. So his 1-year, $1.75 million deal with the Patriots raised a few eyebrows. But Cam took to Instagram yesterday to explain why he would agree to a minimum deal. He said, quote, "It's not a lot of things money cannot buy, but amongst the top of that list of things, you would find respect as one of those. This is not about money for me. It's about respect." Shannon, do you agree with this point?
I do, to an extent, Skip, because sometimes people equate money to respect. Skip, if you remember when Brian Urlacher, his last year when he was going back and forth with the Bears, and the Bears offered him $2 million. He was thinking about going to the Cowboys. He says, "I will play for the Cowboys for $2 million. I will not play for the Bears for $2 million because I deem that a lack of respect." You see, it was kind of tied hand in hand. But I believe what Cam Newton is talking about in this situation is not the dollar figure, Skip. It's about there are teams in the NFL, Chicago Bears, maybe the San Diego Chargers, maybe a few other teams, that Cam says, "I'm better than your guys," and you didn't even give me a call.
They did not.
That's for me, Skip, this I don't know because I haven't talked to Cam or anybody close to Cam. But I'm surveying the landscape, and I'm looking around at the 32 teams, and I know some have quarterbacks staunchly entrenched into a starting lineup. But when you navigate the league, Skip, and you look around, you're like, hold on. He better than what's in Chicago. He better than what they got at I say San Diego, excuse me. L.A. Chargers. He's better than those guys.
Yep.
There are a couple of other teams. Jacksonville. That Cam Newton is better than the quarterback that they got currently on the roster. And he said, y'all wouldn't even give me a call? Y'all wouldn't even ask me to ask me for an interview, to just pick up a Zoom? Okay, Skip, not Zoom is the new thing. Skip, you know, I've been Zooming lately. I've been doing a lot of Zoom. I feel important.
Have?
Yeah, I feel important.
You
now.
have been zooming?
Yeah, I've been Zooming.
With the dogs? Or?
No. I've been Zooming. I feel important. I feel like a CEO or something.
Okay.
Yeah. So I believe, for me, Skip, I believe that's what Cam is talking about. I believe he says, yeah, okay, yeah, I understand that. And we saw Richard Sherman make a post like, it's disrespectful that Cam Newton has to play for, one little over $1 million, given what he's been in the league, given his success in the league. But for me, Skip, when I just look at it and I step back, having played in this league for 14 years, Skip, he's absolutely right. You want to be respected. And sometimes money comes along with respect because, Skip, we're going through that in Dallas. Your guys say, hold on, Dallas, y'all don't even respect me. Because if you respected me, you give me what I ask because I've been playing for this little bit of money over the last 4 years and done great. I've done better than what you thought. But Dak is looking at it, his representative, Skip, is looking at a lack of respect. But I don't believe that's what Cam is talking about in this situation, the money situation. I believe because he believes there are 4 or 5 other teams that within the league that he's better than their starting quarterback, he's better than their backup quarterback, and you wouldn't even give me a call. So I believe that's the respect factor that he's talking about in this situation.
Okay. So my big picture takeaway from Cam's IG post of yesterday was, it hit me as profoundly sad. And I told you last Monday, just after we'd heard the news, Cam to Belichick.
Right.
I said, I'm not sure whether to offer congratulations or condolences. That's in part because of what's not left in the cupboard on offense in New England, number one. But number two, and maybe more important, how little money was paid to this man who it was just 5 years ago, won the MVP. He dominated this league. He terrorized this league. Got that team 15-1 to the Super Bowl. He did not play well in the Super Bowl. He played better than Peyton did, but he did not play well. The Denver defense took the game over, but he still got to the Super Bowl.
Correct.
In a fairly short time, we went from that to this. And I'm going to read these figures one more time because I get what he's saying about it's like money can't buy happiness, and he's saying money can't buy respect either. But in the end, your salary can pay you respect. Obviously, it's the ultimate measuring stick in this society, right?
It is.
It's how we measure the respect that your employer gives you is by your salary in the end. Not always, but mostly. So Bill Belichick got away with paying him by waiting it out and letting the entire league reject Cam Newton, former MVP. But he got away with paying him the bare rock bottom minimum for a player of this
that many
veteran.
years in the league.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's barely $1 million. Only about half of it is even guaranteed. It's $550,000 is guaranteed. So I told you I tried to put this in perspective. That's the 908th highest salary in the whole National Football League. There are 907 higher paid players in the league. And it's the 58th highest paid quarterback salary in the league. This is Cam Newton we're talking about. And I know he has struggled because he's been beat all to hell. We talked about how he died for the cause for the Carolina Panthers. But still, despite a shoulder surgery and despite a Liz Frank surgery on his foot, he's 31 years of age, which ain't too old.
Right.
A lot of quarterbacks, I mean, we got one that's about to be 43 in Tampa. But a lot of quarterbacks are entering their prime just right about now.
Right.
So if he's healthy and you got away with paying him barely $1 million, that's just not right, right? And then I reflect back on Jenny's favorite quarterback, Kirk Cousins. Just 2 years ago, he went to the Vikings for 3 years at $84 million. Now, think about this. And it was all guaranteed.
All.
And he just got extended. But just take his initial Minnesota contract, $84 million guaranteed. Cam just got guaranteed $550,000. What? Okay, so this comes across to me as a Cam Newton who is such a proud man. He's got such a huge aura and charisma and personality. And it just got stomped on by the National Football League, and it crushed him. And this came across as it's saying, I'm going to win back my respect. I don't think he got paid a lot of respect by Bill Belichick. No. But if, in fact, he's going to get the opportunity to win the starting job, and we're not even completely sure about that.
Right.
But if he's at least given the opportunity, then he can win back tons of respect because he does have the ultimate opportunity in that it's the ultimate challenge.
Right.
You get to go to New England to replace the GOAT, the man who won or got to, let's just say, put it this way, he got to 9 Super Bowls in the last 20 years. Is that not the ultimate challenge to step into those shoes? And yet I told you on Monday, they're just a handful of humans capable of bearing up under that challenge.
Right.
This man is definitely one of those.
Agreed.
So even though his pride got stepped on, and back to your fact, this league rejected him, roundly rejected him, and it even came down to one of 3 African-American coaches who coached the not San Diego, but Los Angeles Chargers, a guy you played with named Anthony Lynn.
Good friend of mine.
And I don't know how much actual decision-making input Coach Lynn has in the bigger structure of the Chargers.
Right.
Probably some, but not final say.
Right.
But even that team, coached by that man, said no when all they had was Tyrod Taylor. And I respect his game because he did get Buffalo to the playoffs one year and lost a 6-3 playoff game at Jacksonville.
Yep.
Okay, but he's pretty good.
Right.
But he's not Cam Newton.
Right.
And then they go out in the draft and they take a guy 6th overall. Neither you nor I think that much of.
No.
We are not sold on Justin Herbert.
No.
Because if you're saying Justin Herbert, Cam Newton, Justin Herbert,
take Cam.
Stop it. Really? I mean, you love Tua. Maybe if you're going Tua versus Cam, you're saying, okay, long term, long haul.
Right.
You know, we could go on and on about that. But the point is that they took Justin Herbert over Cam Newton, and probably sooner than later, he'll be in their starting lineup.
Right.
Maybe at mid-year. I don't know. Maybe he'll start game 1 for all I know. Okay? So that team moving into SoFi Stadium, needing a marquee draw. And whatever you want to say about Cam Newton, there's one thing for sure you cannot take away from him. He is box office.
Yep.
Big box office because he's fun to, what did Randy Moss say? It drove me crazy just because I respect Brady so much. But Randy Moss says, you're going to see the fun brought back into that Patriot offense. It's going to be so much more fun to watch than it used to be. Okay, if I give Randy that much, I still can't see how it's more fun than 9 Super Bowls in 20 years, but that's a whole nother issue.
Right.
But if it's that much fun to watch Cam play football, how can he not be a lightning rod draw going into what's it, billion-dollar stadium? It's several billion, right?
Yep.
Okay, it's about to have a grand opening. What if you put that man's name on
SoFi.
SoFi? Yeah, right.
Yep.
Okay, so why wouldn't you put that man's name on the marquee?
100-yard jumbotron.
Okay, 100-yard jumbotron, and Cam could just fill it up.
Yes.
Because as we know, everybody who plays him says, they always say, you can't believe how huge he is.
You can't.
6'5", 2, I don't know, he looks like he's leaned out.
Yeah, he has. I think he's a complete vegan now. I know he has for a while. He
240-ish. Maybe he's played at 250 to 260.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, easy.
He can impose his physical will on teams if he's healthy. So if he's healthy now,
right.
Okay, so he has the opportunity to do this. But so he posts in this IG post that this is not about money for me, it's about respect. And then he's got, you're going to have to explain this one to me, but he goes with that purple devil emoji over, greater than the money bag.
Right.
And then he just keeps going across and he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those purple devil emojis.
The purple devil?
Okay. It can mean a whole lot of things to me. I'm not sure how it fits here. If you can explain exactly.
Well, I don't know. Look. Me trying to explain is kind of like trying to explain what Jerry Trump's mean with some of his Jerryisms. They mean a lot of different things. They might mean something to you and I, but Jerry's like, no, that's not what it meant with that one.
Okay, so
I guess he got something cooking, Skip.
Okay,
he got something cooking.
Some definitions. I even looked it up last night to see. Am I missing a definition here? But it can mean excitement and excellence and
He's ready. Yeah.
Okay, like he's going to show people. Okay, good. And then we got some hashtags.
What hashtag?
All I know is work.
Right.
Okay, I'll buy that one. I'm betting it all on me. Yep, that's what's about to happen because they're not betting it all on you. You better bet it all on you, right? Shine through the shade. I think that's the ultimate hashtag tag because he's feeling a lot of shade right now.
Yeah, he feels like a lot of these teams shaded him. Wouldn't even give Cam Newton a call. Skip, I think the thing is that when you look at it, there's no unemployment for a professional athlete. You see what happened during this pandemic? There are a lot of people that got laid off, and some of them were able to get unemployment. And some of the unemployment benefits was more than they were actually making. Well, in professional sports, Skip, if you get laid off and someone doesn't pick you up, there is no unemployment benefits.
Nope.
So so Cam is looking at like, okay, now, I can sit here and be on my pride and say that is beneath me. Here's the guy that made $20 million last year, just in football salary, if I'm not mistaken, and they're offering me this? I wish I might accept that. Well, you sit there and own your pride and do what? Or I can go back, play for this, a little over $1 million, show that I'm still Cam Newton. Because, Skip, you remember in 2018, Cam got off to a great start. Hurt that shoulder. He tried to play.
I will tell you, that opening stretch in 2018, that looked like 2015 to me. So I'm going to give you that. Of the 4 years that felt below average, because the overall numbers are below average.
Correct.
But there was a lightning strike right there of Superman.
And then what happened? Hurt the shoulder. He tried to play through it for their cause. Oh, I'm tough. And then boom, all of a sudden, things got worse. And then he hurt his foot. So for me, Skip, you have to look at it as a situation like this. Skip, if a man is out of work and he has a family to feed, what type of job would that man accept? Obviously, he'd accept less because it's better than nothing. Cam needs to get back. Cam can't prove that he's healthy. Cam can't prove that he's the old Cam sitting on his couch in Atlanta.
No.
Cam needs to be on a football field. He needs to be on a roster. Give it an opportunity to show that I'm still Cam Newton and I can get this done. Yeah, Skip, absolutely hurts your pride. You go from $20 million to a $1 million? Absolutely. And when some of these other guys, I look at Chase Daniels, who's been get it if you can get it. Hold on. They giving this man, he made $7 million as a backup, $5 million, $6 million. You see all these guys making all this, and no, wait a minute. But see, Skip, and I tell people this all the time, it's harder if you're a great player, have been a great player, to be a backup than being a career backup. Because they just come in and everybody's like, oh, it ain't no problem. Now, Chase Daniels and some of these other backups, that's why Josh McCown is able to stay in the league for 18, 19 years, Skip. Fitzpatrick, even when Tua beats him out, he'll go somewhere else and stay another 2 or 3 years.
But he's no threat.
No.
Like you can bring him in and he's no threat to your starter. Like Seattle.
Right.
I kept thinking, would Seattle make a play for Cam? No. Because they have Geno Smith as their backup. but Cam's better than Geno, clearly.
Right. Yes.
But he would be such a threat to Russell Wilson.
And it's harder, Skip, when you've been, think about this, Skip. It's harder to be the guy when you're used to being the applause being for you. And then all of a sudden you hear that applause and it's for someone else. That's not easy to handle. Trust me, I've been there. I've been, and all of a sudden I'm like, damn. Oh, that's the guy standing next to me. Okay, I get it. It's cool. I'm cool.
You've been there.
I've been there. You know what I'm saying? You know, it was a little tiny bit.
Wait,
you know?
they're cheering for Todd Heap, right?
No, I left. Todd came. That was my last year in Baltimore. They drafted Todd. They drafted Todd in the first round. No. But I had a great conversation with Oz, and he explained it to me like, and plus that's the thing, Skip. I believe if Carolina had sat down with Cam and explained the situation, it was like they tried to make it seem like Cam requested a trade when all the while they were trying to deal Cam. Cam could have handled that, Skip. If there's just talk to me. I figure after 9 years, Skip, of being in this relationship, but what Cam needed to understand, this was a different dynamic.
Yep.
Now all of a sudden the owner that drafted you, he's no longer there. They got a new head coach. So the coach that the relationship you had with Ron Rivera is no longer there. Even though I think it's Skip, wasn't Marty Herney? Didn't Marty Herney draft him?
He did. Then he was replaced by Gettleman. Then he came back around. Yeah.
So, Skip, I believe there's a situation that they could have sat down with Cam, explained the situation, says, Cam, this is what we want. I mean, would you be willing to work at a discount? Yep. But they did none of that. And then they played it up like Cam was requesting a trade when they were trying to get rid of, when the news had already broke, they had signed Teddy Bridgewater.
And he publicly called them on it.
Exactly.
He said, don't you be putting those words in my mouth, effectively.
Exactly.
Right?
So, Skip, I believe that's the thing. I mean, it's tough when you've been this guy all of a sudden and you think that you're better than some of these quarterbacks elsewhere, and the teams don't even call you.
Yep. Okay, back to Kirk Cousins. Speaking of Kirk, he said yesterday he raised that suspicion flag again on Belichick, saying, I'm just paraphrasing, but he said, don't be surprised if there's some plan here we're not seeing. Well, you and I discussed yesterday the possibility that maybe Belichick signed Cam to do Cam package plays, to do, 10, 12, 15 plays a game that he would throw or run in Cam style, while Stidham would be, as Belichick calls him, it would be the starter that Cam, he could maybe protect Cam from too much contact, taking too much punishment by 10, 12 plays a game as a nuclear Taysom Hill in New Orleans, obviously. And that then maybe it would make more sense because you'd be saying, oh, well, Belichick got him on the cheap because he's going to use him conservatively.
Skip, for me, I've been stopped trying to figure out Coach Belichick because nobody has been able to hit it on the nail. Oh, he's going to draft this guy. He needs this position, and this guy is Taylor. This is a Patriot guy, and he takes a kicker. Or he takes Skip, he loves Lamar Jackson. He's secretly with that.
There's been a lot of that.
So I've given up trying to figure out what Coach Belichick's going to do because he's going to do the last thing that you expect him to do. And that's why I guess that's what makes him such the genius that he is, because he's willing to take players that didn't or couldn't perform at other locations, and he can get the Kyle Van Noys, or he can get the Jamie Collins, and he can get guys that Stephon Gilmore wasn't that in Buffalo. So all of a sudden Stephon Gilmore got more talented. Once he got to New England, he got with somebody that
he did have to pay him a bunch of money.
Yeah, that was the only time that he.
The only time, but
that was the only time he played market value for anything. Coach Belichick goes to the grocery store and a gallon of milk is $4. He's like, I give you the $1.50 for it. I ain't paying.
And they'll do it in Boston.
Coach Belichick says I ain't paying full price for anything. But that's the way he operates, Skip. He believes that in his coaching and his system that he can fit guys in, get them on the cheap, and get them to perform. And then if your performance is more than I'm willing to pay, I appreciate it, a la Darrelle Revis.
That is correct. Belichick also got away with, in signing Cam, that he qualified all of his incentives as not likely to be reached because Cam had no stats last year. So you can sort of trick it up and jump through a loophole in the salary cap. They don't count against your cap
this year.
if they're not likely.
Right.
And you do them off his stats last year.
Right.
Well, he didn't have any stats last year to speak of.
Well, that's kind of how they do it, Skip, to avoid the cap implications, knowing that if this guy, because that's what they did. They probably, if I'm not mistaken, Skip, I think they did that with some of Brady's numbers. He had some incentives last year if he gets to the Super Bowl and things of that nature. They did that with Gronk, if I'm not mistaken, one year. But they do that, Skip, for, as you mentioned, for cap implications, knowing like, man, if this guy's healthy, he's gonna get those stats, but we don't want the money to count this year. We'll let it count next year. We'll kick the can down the road and address it then. But I think this is a great situation for Cam. The only question that I have, if Cam Newton's healthy, Cam Newton could be Cam Newton. I believe Cam Newton, they'll allow Cam to be who he wants to be. Skip, if he's Superman, you don't ask Superman whose power is flying to all of a sudden drive. You let him be who he is. He's a superhero that can fly. You let him fly.
I just hope he gets the opportunity to fly. And if he does, he can win respect as opposed to being paid respectfully.
Yes, I agree.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.